not sure if we're going to hear the sounders or not. Barf?
Yeah, we are. I forgot to turn the
That's
soundboard
great.
on, so we had that going for us. But now that you mentioned it, I was like, I guess I better have the soundboard on.
Cool. Oh, that clip isn't working for me.
I had to reload it.
Reload it. Something went wrong. Anyway, Frasley, do me a favor and tweet it.
What?
Oh,
Soundboard's
amazing.
working.
Okay.
Ding. Message for you, sir.
All right. Think we're ready to show it up?
Cool. At the end of the interview portion, we're going to say, where can we find you and how can we, all that? Like, do you have anything to pimp, that sort of thing? You're going to give us the lowdown, and then when we switch over to Ash, the easiest thing to do is actually if you hang up on us.
Okay,
Just so that you're aware of that.
Big red button.
Yep. We're going to go to here. I'm going to type start into the markers because we're 16 minutes into the live, and Sal's not going to have to search for it. In 5, 4, 3...
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 148 of the Converted Podcast, your World of Warcraft podcast all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Today is April 8th, 2019. It's just about 6:21 p.m. Airy Peak local time. Thank you all very much for joining us. Sal, what do we got?
In this episode, we have 8.2 is looming, your converted shoutouts, Eshelon Turarts with the Guild Haps, and Mewkow of Banana Republic.
That's right, everybody. I am Barfolomew the Paladin. Joining us tonight is our very special guest, Mewkow. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you here. Joining us, as always, is Turarts the Hunter. Turarts the Hunter. Turarts, how you doing?
I am doing awesome. Life is just going wonderful right now. I am leveling a paladin tank. It is a dark iron one. Name is Navox, and it's super exciting, super scary. I am terrified of tanking, but it's going well. Shout outs to everyone who watched that cluster of a stream. That was, but it's awesome. Level 26, so I get her in the guild soon. Overwatch, real quick. I have something exciting to announce about Overwatch. Tink has finally conned his way into me and him doing an Overwatch thing. But not only Tink and myself, we have Devlin and Turarts coming in to do an Overwatch extravaganza thing on the 18th of this month. Unless someone's life gets in the way. But come watch us, not us, me suck at Overwatch, but the rest of them will hopefully probably be good and be able to carry me.
It's you, Tink, Dev,
And
Turut.
Yep.
What teams are 4 people?
6.
Or 6. So you need
So we've room for
two
2 more, and I'm trying to talk someone into it, so we'll see what happens. But
You need someone who can handle Devlin, because
I can handle her. I get this.
Well, I mean, you need 2 more people. And those people need to be able to handle that level of crazy.
It's gonna be.
So-
I've actually never. She's been on the podcast. I've never, I think, done an event or anything with Devlin, not a one-on-one, but a small group setting. So, or
I've been to 6
or
BlizzCons, and she's been to all 6 of them. And there are, moments that I have blacked out.
Well,
Just out of my mind.
It is a Thursday night. I have to work the next day, and I think maybe some of them do too. So I don't think it's going to get too crazy. But I said that on a Thursday night once, and I ended up at work probably still drunk. So who knows what's going to happen. We'll see how that goes. But I just want to get that out here. Guild news, let's flip it for a second because I have another event to announce. Guys, we're doing a town hall again. It's been way too long. like ridiculously long since we've had a town hall. So we're gonna get together and chat. Barf will be there to talk about greeter stuff. Ash will be there to talk about raid stuff. I'll have something to talk about, I'm sure, between now and then. That is this Sunday, April 14th at 2 p.m. server time. So come join us. We'll be in Discord. There is a town hall channel. We're usually at twitch.tv/convert to raid for that as well, where you can hang out. And then in game, we usually meet up somewhere and have fun. So Sunday, fun day. Just got a lot more fun with the town hall.
Town halls are great.
Oh, I love them.
I mean, you learn so much about what's going on in the guild. And it's yeah. If you can't make it there at that exact time, it's gonna be recorded, I'm sure. Hey,
It is.
Zug, are you gonna record it? I was asking him because he's in the chat room now. Our
Jeez, way to name
guild
drop.
master.
You bet. There we go.
Yeah, let me just pick up that name for you, Sal. Yes, is you bet. Yeah, you'll be able to hear it in case you're at church or something on Sunday.
At 2,
And
2 p.m.
I
server?
guess.
Well,
It's
It's like
That's-
5
that's-
Sunday on
Yeah.
Eastern. I don't know. For you church people, let us know if you church at that time. I'm interested.
that's not
now.
Easter. That's
No,
not
it's
Easter.
not
Easter's
Easter,
before,
no.
right?
Yeah.
That how do you know when someone doesn't go to church? When they get the one holiday wrong.
Church and Easter, those are the 2 you're supposed to go to. Like that's the
That- I
Catholic
mean,
in me. Anyway, let's bring it back around. Town Hall 2 p.m. this Sunday, because this can go so many different ways. Guys, chat room shout outs. I know you have them. We've gotten a couple already spicy ones. Throw some more at me. I'm excited to get these once we get to that point later on in the show. Or you can still tweet them to us on the Twitter sphere. Barf, take it away.
Thank you so much, T. Also with us tonight, Sal Meish is the shaman. Sal, what's up?
hello. I just got back from Indiana.
You're close to me.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I'm not there now.
Oh,
I'm clearly
are.
in my home in Brooklyn. But yeah, I was there. I was in Indianapolis in a little town called Greenfield, which is where my grandmother resides. It was her 88th birthday. And it was the first time that all my dad's siblings were in the same room together in something like 20 years.
that is
Like,
amazing.
Like he's been in the same room with each of these people,
Yeah.
one-on-one or two-on-one or, three. But for all 6 of them to stand there behind their mom, that was the first time in about 20 years or so. So that was rad. And you know what? It was the first time in maybe 17 or 18 years since the my siblings have been alone in a room together without their spouses or kids or anything. And the 4 of us just sat in a hotel room taking Tito's shots. And another thing. My brother was telling stories that he would never tell his wife. It was great. It was great. And I'm like, I have got something on you. I've got something. I've got a crazy story about him hunting in Mexico. That she would lose her mind over. Anyway, did you see that there's going to be an 8.2 deep dive?
Yes.
Yeah, so the World of Warcraft Twitch is going to do that on April 11th. Looking forward to that. And the other thing I'm looking forward to, I'm probably going to do right after this is what we're doing now, because I've been
Podcast.
gone all weekend. I want to go ride that roller coaster. Have y'all done that yet?
No, I haven't.
yet.
Can we get on it together? Is there like carts?
I
don't
haven't
know.
done it yet,
Is
so
it
I
one-
can't tell you.
Is it
haven't
one
seen
person
it.
at a time, like the cheese mouse?
The cheese mouse?
I don't know how to describe it. It's the metal one that gives you a headache, breaks your neck, turns at 90-degree angles for no reason. Has one of loops, like not loops, but like has one
One
bump.
hump. Yep. Like you go.
Sal's
up
looking at
and
me like I'm
curve.
crazy. I am
It's a-
not crazy.
It's a roller coaster. It
It's
was
real?
a caterpillar at my hometown, but I know what you're talking about.
Wait, you're talking about IRL roller coasters?
What other roller coasters would I be talking about, Sal?
Dude,
I asked you
this
if
is
it was
World of
like, and then I
Warcraft
described a
podcast.
secondary roller coaster.
That's where I was like, I thought this was a new. I thought this was new. And the other thing I was thinking about, Zug just said again, Mousetrap. I was thinking about the game Mousetrap.
The crazy contraption where the fun is catching.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about that song where the cheese stands alone. I wasn't sure.
I was with you, Barf. I got you.
Wow.
I got you.
I'm so
Wow,
glad I have
okay.
one friend in this world.
So, and Frasley thought you were talking about the book,
Good book, by the way.
Who Stole My Cheese?
Who moved my cheese?
That's what I meant.
I neither move nor
Anyway.
steal cheese.
I only eat it. Speaking of cheese, Barf, how are you doing?
Really? That's my introduction. Thank you so much, Salmisis. I'm gonna have a cheesy time. I've been very busy with like house things, right? Like I'm trying to. For those who are not aware, moving day is fast approaching. Silver's going to be moving in to this here joint in like a week and a half now, little less than 2 weeks.
Are you excited?
Oh, dude, I'm incredibly excited. But like, there's a lot to do in the meantime, right? Like, a couple of weeks ago, I was rearranging the entire shed so that there would be storage space. This weekend, I was painting the office because we're building an office. She's gonna be doing a lot of work from home type things, and it's amazing how much time that takes. I was saying a little bit in pre-show, it's like exhausting. I didn't realize it's like one room. You'd think that it'd be like no. There's a lot that goes into it. And I've painted that room before. I painted that room the last time it was painted, and I forgot how much time it takes. So that's a lot of what I've been doing recently. The other thing recently is, I don't know if you're aware of the Nintendo news, but they just released a Yoshi game, and it is the cutest game in the history of games. However, it's starting to do this thing that, like, toward the end of the most recent play session I had with it, it was starting to get on my nerves a little bit. They do this thing where you'll finish the level, and then this robot with a crooked smiley face will tell you, whoop, I got a problem. Okay. This robot with a crooked smiley face will tell you, hey, you should go to the level again and find a crab, or find 3 squids, or find 5 buckets, or whatever it tells you to go find. And you keep revisiting the levels like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And after a while, it's like I kind of want to move on. But like I got this mindset where I'm like, no, I'm going to get every flower. I am a strong and powerful Yoshi, and I'm wearing a cardboard train, and I am going to get all of the flowers. That's the life I lead. Because it's just who I am.
It's life of a 100%er.
It's hard, and I don't usually 100% games. I'll play through, super casual. I'm just enjoying my time and playing the game. But like when the robot says all you got to do is collect 4 buffaloes, I don't know, man. I can collect 4 buffaloes. That's not hard. I'll just go in there and shoot eggs at buffaloes. It's easy. It takes time.
It does.
Yoshi and paint have been the 2 biggest things in my life right now, recently. Really. That's where I am in my life.
It's not a bad place.
So that's what's going on in my world. But we're not here to talk about me. Tonight is a return to form sort of thing, right? Where we're bringing in a CTR raid team to have a team spotlight. I think you'll find that the spotlighted team this week is quite unique. Here to talk about Banana Republic, please welcome Mewkow. First of all, I said that right? It's Mewkow?
That is correct.
Fantastic, because when you read it, it could be Mewkow. It's hard to know. You're a tricksy man. Thank you so much for coming on to the show tonight.
Yeah, it actually was Mewkow in the very beginning because of the origin of the name. See if you can guess where the origin of the name, what character I was playing when I created that name.
A monk.
A Tauren?
Okay, Tauren.
The
whole, it's all in there.
Moo?
Mew.
Mew.
A psychic
Pew,
Tauren.
pew? Like Mew, like Pew?
As in meow.
That can clone itself.
A druid.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just so clever with those names. It was kind of funny. Yeah, I made it was Mewkow, but it was kind of leaning on the Mewkow stuff. But yeah, the name stuck, and pretty much all of my names are Mew something or something Mew, and I've kind of stuck to Mew something because there's this guy named Barfolomew that people are like, oh hey, that guy. It's like no, not that guy. Mew something.
Really? Does that happen a lot?
Not anymore. I don't do anything with something Mew anymore. I do Mew something, and a lot less confusing for people.
Oh man, I love it. Well, first off, let our guests know a little bit about who you are, where you come from, IRL stuff, all that fun stuff, just to kind of get to know you.
How many hours we got? Background for me, I guess the most pertinent is that I did used to work for Blizzard Entertainment in Irvine. I worked on the Bonds team, which is the Blizzard Online Network Services team. We are the ones that took care of where your characters lived when you logged out every day. The servers that all of the equipment and all the games lived on. It's databases, just plain old servers for running the applications. Yeah, that was our life. I was there for a good 2 years, from 2009ish till 2011ish, somewhere around there. But it was a great time. That was also, if you remember the fun we had at the beginning of the year with the big layoffs at Blizzard. I was part of the last big layoffs where they let off 600 people. Didn't get quite as much attention back then, but same basic deal. It's a great company. They treated everyone really well, even when they had to leave. I'd work there again if I could, but it's past that, I ended up getting picked up by Square Enix, so you'll see a lot of Square Enix stuff behind me as well. Spent a lot of my time in Final Fantasy 14. That's the Stormblood box back there. Yeah, I do the stuff I actually do isn't quite as exciting. It's database work. We keep all of your data in a nice, neat place where you can get to it a lot faster, so that we can give you fun tidbits like how many players have been playing Taran, how many players have been playing dwarves, stuff like that. But yeah, a while back, I thought I wanted to get into the Alliance side of things, because as you can see, it's a little horde biased over here.
To the audio listeners, he's wearing a Horde shirt. He's sitting on a Horde cushion on his chair, and there appears to be a small Horde flag in the background, maybe 4 or 5 feet long.
Yeah, and then the smaller one just had a frame. Yeah, it's a little Horde over here. While I was working at Blizzard, which Horde biased over there, we tried to reach out a little bit, and I was just starting to get into things with a little group of people called AIE, who did a lot of Horde stuff. But this is also about the time that I was starting to hear a lot about CTR, because I wanted somewhere to do a bit of Alliance rating, to see that side of the story, which in recent expansions is kind of been a big deal. It's a lot of really good story on that side. On this side, I should say. And so I got picked up by a little team called Banana Republic, because I'm a late nighter. Been that way for a long time, and a lot of the teams that we have on the roster tend to do things like, and there's some early morning ones, but the big bulk of them seem to be in the evening. And there wasn't really anyone except for one team that was doing that really late night stuff. And when I mean late night, I mean after midnight, because there's a team called 9 to Midnight. You'd think that I might fit. No, it's still too early for me. So I went over to right after midnight, and that's where Banana Republic came in. And the name, from what I understand, is basically about the fact that the people in Banana Republic are all over the place. The actual founder is a Monzi. He lives in Africa and is the founder. He has brought in a number of Canadian players as well, all third shifters. So again, Banana Republic. We have a number of Australians. Again, it was a weird theme that kept going on, and then so they started picking up a few Americans as well. But they've been around for a while and trying to get it done.
So
wait. If your players are from literally all around the world, like, there have to be scheduling problems. Like, I know that you said, oh yeah, well, I mean, they're the middle of the night team, and that's just how it what's the conversation like on that?
Well, we have the set time. It is Wednesday nights and Thursday nights, or Thursday mornings, Friday mornings, depending on where you are. We start at, I want to say it's 11 p.m. server time, and we go for about 3 hours. And it just works out. That's, for whatever reason, all the third shifters all over the country, that's when they're coming home. They're in fact, a lot of people are like, I just got in the door and I'm sitting down to talk with you guys. And it's been pretty consistent. And things come up, every now and then someone's like, oh, I got to get up at this weird 8 a.m. early time in the morning. So, I can't do raid tonight. But, for the most part, yeah, it's a pretty consistent. Honestly, the only ones that aren't able to get there more consistently are our actual founder, Amanzi, because a part of his time with the work he does in Africa, which we haven't gotten too many details on. We didn't want to dig too much, but he does a lot of travel. So, in fact, he was just in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. So he's all over the place and having to deal with hotel Wi-Fi a lot, which is always fun with raiding. But but yeah, because of the fact that he's not able to be there every night that we raid, he actually brought in several of us as co-leads. So there's currently 4 of us. So it's kind of like a raid grouping of raiding leaders. It's a server joke, but of the 4 of us, at least one of us is going to be available when things start at 11 p.m. So that's pretty much how it goes. We start up, we start pulling all the regulars in, and then we look around to see who's still awake in CTR that wants to join us, and then we'll start having to do a little bit of pugging.
Wow, well, it sounds like you guys have a lot of obstacles to work through, but you do it well, and people seem to come pretty consistently.
We do have a core group that shows up relatively regularly, but yeah, we do have to do a bit of pugging. But luckily, we have been able to pug from CTR. There's every now and then, there's just it's like, oh, I was just up late tonight, or oh, I had to get up early tomorrow, so I'm just not going to sleep. Why don't I join you guys? That sort of stuff happens all the time. And every now and then we'll pick up a new person that'll become a regular.
Well, as a former employee, you're pretty well aware, I suppose, that the Tauren, while a noble and majestic race, are not exactly welcome in Stormwind. So I'm curious to know, you said you were playing a Tauren once upon a time. I'm curious to know like what you're doing in CTR as far as like race, class, like who is Mewkow?
The actual Mewkow is a Worgen druid.
Okay.
But it's not my actual raider. Curiously enough, I went ahead and created a warrior. For whatever reason, just warrior spoke to me around the time of Draenor, the Warlords of Draenor time, which is actually the big time I was really getting involved with CTR. And I don't know, just Prot Warrior spoke to me, and it was kind of an easy transition, because if those that are familiar with Guardian Druid and Prot Warrior, they share a lot of things. They've kind of diversified them a little bit, but for the most part, they're very similar. So it's really easy for me to go back and forth, because on the other side, I do have a Guardian Druid for tanking. So on this side, it's a nice clean break. I have a Prot Warrior. It is a Worgen. For whatever reason, Worgen smoked me pretty well, though I'm still debating, especially with all the allied races going on, if I want to change that or not. But yeah, I liked Worgen for the speed boost, for the ability to do the little transformation, which is kind of neat, and pretend to be human for a little bit. They have the some of the what was it, the something against curses. I think they're kind of slightly immune to them, but not like totally immune to it. Just little things that kind of help with tanking, having that kind of stuff. But yeah, it worked really well for me. Yeah, that's what it was, Shadow. It worked really well, and I'm honestly thinking I've started up a new Dark Iron warrior. I'm giving that a shot, just kind of going through the whole thing, because I actually never went through post Cataclysm in the Dwarven lands. So I've actually been forcing myself all the way through that, which is kind of really awkward as a Dark Iron, because you're going through the lock, and those darn Dark Irons, you need to go over there and kill them because they're screwing with our stuff.
And your beard's on fire, and you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, those dark irons. And the funny thing that I saw and seeing things from the other side is I've noticed that they changed the strings a little bit for the dark irons. So when those dwarves are talking to you, they say, "Hey dwarf." They don't say, "Hey dark iron dwarf," because that's the full name.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's interesting. So it's like, "Hey dwarf, why don't you help us with these dark iron dwarfs?" So it's an interesting little coding thing.
Point of so I'm playing through that too. I rolled. I'm going through on a Colterin. And I ended up going to like Loch Modan or something. But the Dark Iron dwarves are not just Dark Iron. Okay, they're part of the Twilight's Hammer.
Mm-hmm. They're
So
cultists.
Yes. And if you recall from Cataclysm, there were plenty of other races, including human,
Most races.
that, yeah, were part of the Twilight's Hammer. It's just, so, and also like that's totally part of Cataclysm, Twilight's Hammer. So it's still weird, right? It's still weird.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. But yeah, in my head, I can easily say those dark iron cultists. To kind of make
they're
it
Dark Iron cultists. They're not just Dark Iron.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not.
Yeah, they're just primarily one race. It just happened to be that. It's just that one little splinter. I think of it as a splinter group that has not checked in with the current Dark Iron dwarves that are run by Moira, and they just haven't checked in for a while. They're doing their own little thing over in the corner and doing bad stuff. Let's just clean them up. No big deal.
Bad stuff. Yeah. And it's not like Moira is out there, killing anyone, or anyone's trying to kill her, like we did so often in vanilla.
Yeah, but sometimes when you leave a soldier out in the world, they don't know the war's over, and they're going to keep fighting.
I saw that on Gilligan's Island once.
I saw it on Archer once. I know how to name TV shows. So I feel like I've got a very informed and important question for you. Will you be hiding your chest appearance? When they introduce that part of the transmog?
I'm not sure I'm following.
They're going to do this thing in transmog where you can hide your shoulders and your cape and your head. You're going to be able to go the bare chested, the Tapartos method as it is. As a Dark Iron warrior, will you be partaking?
Well, that particular Dark Iron's female, so probably not. But no, hiding the transmog, it hasn't really done much for me. I mean, for the most part, I try to show all of it I can. I mean, I really love it. I have the fabulous title and all that fun stuff. I get into transmog. Like every class and every spec has its own transmog for me. Like I actually go to that much trouble. I have my Alliance Pride transmog all set up. I have my Alliance ship captain Pride stuff all set up. I have the.
That's a good look.
Yeah, it is, and I happen to have the captain title from doing all the stuff for at Draenor, doing the boat stuff. You get the captain title from that. So.
Of course you do. Wow.
So yeah, I went full in. I mean, I enjoyed it all, and I'm actually didn't mind the garrison so much. But maybe because I saw all the hard work they put into too, that maybe it biased me a little bit. But I enjoyed all that, and but yeah, I mean, it's a big part is the full transmog. I mean, the closest I come to not having a bunch of transmog is like the one of my fiery sets. I happened to get the really neat fire sword from that one. What was his name in the last expansion? He was one of the Titans that we took out. But I forget his name. But he had a giant fiery sword, and I was lucky enough to get that.
Tashalak from
that's it.
What's his beak?
That's the sword.
Toward the end of wherever it is.
Yes, on Argus. But I happened to get that sword, and so one of my off specs for my warrior is Fury. So I have two giant fiery swords. So I had to make a transmog for that. So I've got the big fiery, shoulder pieces, and I've got the fire crown. But it's a Worgen, so no boots. So I just without those, because it's a really neat look, and the least armor I have is that it's also a female worgen, because for some reason I can't get into the male worgen. I've tried. Maybe it's the sniffing. I don't know, but so I have the female, and the females have the neat cropped up armor. It shows unnecessary tummy, but it's a neat look when you're trying to go for a fiery, like, I'm kind of on fire and probably don't want to be wearing a bunch of layers and be hot kind of look. But that's probably the least amount of armor I would possibly wear. I'm not really into the hiding of the chest, as you say.
Of course, Navox in the chat room, he instantly said, "Yes, me. I will be without a chest." He's just like, I am warrior.
Until they put a barbarian class in game, it's the best we can do, man. I'm just saying.
Navox will be all over that.
So we know that you're bifactional, but something else I've noticed. So Mewkow's your name, which kind of rhymes with meow, which is the sound that a cat makes. I hear another rumor that you love cats.
I do.
Do you have cats?
I used to. Unfortunately, when moving out to Texas, we lost. So, but yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of cats. As by the the ears and for the visual, usually set, but one of the cups is not working. It glows and makes noise and stuff. But yes.
So you have multiple gaming headsets with cat ears.
Yes, I do. A gaming headset doesn't feel right unless it has cat. I mean, I don't see how you guys are managing right now.
Oh, I can't hear you guys at all. So
He's reading lips. He's gotten really good at that.
Okay. So if I do like this, you can't see anything I'm talking about. Then.
I mean, I agree. Worgens are cool.
But yeah, and it's kind of a theme too. Like for the visual listeners, I have a large cat girl from Final Fantasy 14 as a red mage.
Nice.
It's a really nice piece of work. I actually had it framed because of that. But yeah, I tend to lean towards that sort of thing. That's what drew me to druids, was that they had the feral. That was my original big class, but then I tend to tank a lot, so I get pulled into the guardian druid and prot warriors and whatnot. So I probably spend more time as a bear than I do a cat. But when I'm out and about, I'll be in cat form, because you can sneak, and stab stuff, and be catty.
Mm.
So you were talking about Banana Republic a bit earlier, and you were telling us kind of like what the group is kind of comprised of. You have players from all over the world and all this stuff. Did we get into like where you guys are in progression and what you're fighting right now? Did we talk about that yet?
It is a heroic team. We haven't yet, but it is a heroic team. We are our progression really depends on how much of the core is there with us, and if we get some good pugs and some good pickups from CTR. But on our good strong knights, we are currently working on I know his High Tinker is who we're trying to work on off and on, but solidly we can very easily plow through the first 4 bosses. Opulence is a lot of fun, and so we've been able to do that far. I wouldn't say Loa and the King are trouble for us, as is Mechatork. But yeah, we're plugging along. Unfortunately, because of the amount of we have to do, we don't always show up on the CTR automatic listings, because it's expecting a certain number of CTR members for it to consider it a counted kill. So we're a little disadvantaged that way, because we're never going to have a huge crew of CTR people because of our nature. I want to say there's probably about 10 or 12 core members, and for most of the content we're okay. But when you get deeper in, you are just disadvantaged if you don't have closer to 15 or 20. So at that point, we have to pull in some pugs, and that ends up disqualifying us for some of the counting it as a guild kill kind of thing.
Well, you do know that you can get a hold of Eshelon. and let him know what's going on, and he will still report on the Banana Republic's progression on this show. So we'd appreciate it if you'd continue to do that.
I'd love to. That's that's part of why I was happy to come on to kind of get it out there that we are a CTR team. We are a late night CTR team. We are here to welcome any other late nighters. If you think, oh, I love this rating, the CTR and rating, but I'm too late of a person. I come home too late. I'm up too late. There's no, we're here. We'd love to have you. We are progressing in heroic, and we can progress even further if you come join us. We would love to say hi to Jaina. We don't want to kill her. We just want to say hi to her because she's kind of neat to watch.
If I can spoil the end of the raid to you, it's okay. You don't actually kill her.
I know.
It's okay. She gets out.
She's really angry about it, though.
I would be too.
Yeah.
You know what?
Bunch of smelly hordes acting like they know how to boat. They don't know how to boat.
Yeah. And I will tell you, on the actual horde playing through that, you get a much worse version of that raid than the Alliance does. Just so you know, you may not be familiar with that. The horde, actual horde going through as horde, have to deal with a Jaina gauntlet. That is one of the most miserable experiences of that whole raid.
Jaina gauntlet?
Describe in detail, please.
So after you have taken out Monkey Boy and the Mage.
Wrong.
Yes, Grong.
Respect him.
I did the quest line too. I know his sacrifice. But you play against Monkey Boy enough, and that's what everyone's calling him. And yeah, anyway, so after you're done with the first 3 bosses, Jaina starts yelling at Nathanos because everyone loves to yell at Nathanos. It's just a pastime. Even on the horde side, we hate him. But she's like, you'll go no further. You're gonna, and she makes some funny quips. I think she says on the Alliance side too, where it's that Nathanos is overdue for a burial at this point.
Yes.
But right about there, she starts randomly popping up. She'll blink in. She'll do an area effect, stop you in your tracks. The frost mages have, I forget what that's called.
Frost Nova?
That's it, Frost Nova. You're stuck. And on top of that, all throughout the area, she's doing these slow-moving blizzards, and she's got like 5 or 6 of them going at a time because she's Jaina. On top of that, she's dropping these giant swirlies that if you happen to be in the swirlies when they actually land, you will turn into an ice block and start dying. While you're being Frost Nova'd, while you're dealing with several of her frost minions, while you're dealing with several of her water minions, all trying to go through this gauntlet. And it is a very long gauntlet to get through. And if you die, you have to go through it again.
And this is just trash, right?
This is just trash. You
Wow.
get no gear for this. I don't think I've ever seen a BOE even drop from it. It is just let's give you a reason to not like Jaina. Because
You deserve it because you play Horde sometimes.
apparently.
So, like, I remember Siege of Ogremar, Alliance and Horde saw slightly different trash. What does the Alliance side see that's harder to counterbalance against that hallway that you're talking about?
I don't think there's anything.
Nope.
What?
It is a true Alliance
Blizzard.
bias.
Go Blizzard.
There's anything like it.
Well, I mean, you fight for the side of good. Sometimes, sometimes the dice come up your way. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I actually posit it's odd that the Alliance gets the upper hand here when it's the Horde's home turf.
Yeah, as Horde City, you'd think that they'd be like, I don't know,
better prepared.
You'd have like
traps
a
in the spikes or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have some kind of a better setup. You think that a millennia-old troll civilization would have better defenses. But I guess the whole idea is they've never been directly attacked like this before. No one has been as brazen and as well planned as the Alliance attack has been on it. So they were expecting it.
I'm going to go a different direction on this.
Okay.
Because Alliance is playing as Horde, right? But the reason they're there is because it's like, well, here's what happened. Let me tell you the story.
Mm-hmm.
And running the gauntlet isn't really part of the story. I suppose.
Well,
Yeah, we
I'll
could
tell
have
you the
had it
interesting
there,
thing
and it
about
would have
that.
been even, right?
No, but that's the interesting thing though, is that the story is different slightly for both sides. Because I've played both sides. I've gone through the raid on both sides. It is exaggerated on either side depending on what's going on. So again, a good reason to see both sides, even if it's just LFR. It is a complete. I mean, not complete. It is a different experience. They're saying different things. Like the whole speech that happens when you come to King Rosticon.
Mm-hmm.
Different speeches.
See,
Because
that I had heard.
Yeah.
I heard that it's
Interesting.
you know, when the Alliance walks up and Greyman says, "We respectfully request that you surrender your kingdom," and you know he's a nice man about it. He gives them. He's gonna give him a shot. I've shown my strength, and we're here to accept your surrender peacefully. And the Alliance side, apparently, we're just a big old bunch of bullies.
Yep.
Which, I mean, if we're hearing the story third hand, or I don't know if we're actually there or whatever it is, like where
it's third hand, yeah.
there's a little bit of a bias on whoever's telling the story, maybe to make their side sound like they're
Sure.
kind of in the right on this. I love that bit, but I also love the fact that I didn't die in a blizzard fire as an ice cube because my panda chose the right side.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
it's just every time we go through it, it's just the funniest thing to hear the groans and like they have it so perfectly tuned that it's always the most inopportune times for her to be throwing whatever she's throwing. You'll be running through and you're stuck just as a swirly appears on your feet, and you're like, oh well, I guess I'm dead now. It's just so well timed. It's like they put some more thought into how it's actually all moving because it's one big theme park. There's all kinds of moving parts going through. It's all timed and everything, but just every now and then it's just you'll just see someone's running back to help you because if you run back and try to kill the ice cube in time, you can save them before they die. Well, and unless of course you get trapped yourself by another swirly coming up because Jaina has snuck up behind you and done a frost nova. So it's just Some teams just do death runs. We're like, you know what? We're just gonna death run this and summon you with the warlock because it's just not worth it.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But I in my headcanon, I kind of thought of it's maybe just Blizzard's way of trying to give Horde an actual reason to try to kill her, because up until now, the Horde have no reason to hate her. Like seriously, you know, she herself has done nothing directly to the Horde. She was about to, but her dragon boyfriend kind of dragged her away from that. Then they would have had a reason to hate her. But I mean, if you think about it, what reason would the Horde have to actually go against her other than just the happenstance that she's trying to slow you down?
In point of fact, the Horde of all of the Alliance heroes, any Horde that had been hanging around since the Third War, you would think that they'd be like, oh yeah, that's that lady that let us kill her father so that we could establish a peaceful city in Orgrimmar.
Yeah.
Like if it hadn't been for her deliberately standing down when she could have just as easily used her magic, you know, ice witch powers or whatever she has to kill all of us, and she didn't. Like there's like you're right. Like they aside
you're
from
taking down Jaina because the Alliance killed Rusticon.
As a retaliatory message, that's all it is. And she wasn't the one that pulled the trigger in the story, right? It's the mercenaries that did, right?
Yeah,
No,
Jaina-
but she
it
is
was
there
Jaina
on the
individually.
boats.
No, I think it was. It's Greymane that shows up to go after the king.
yeah.
Okay, but she's part of the group of people that come. Like she's
Oh,
on the boat.
Nav makes a good point in chat. She did use her magic flying boat to shoot the walls off of the Undercity, and she was part of that invasion.
But I mean, admittedly, as the Horde, you're like, you know, that's kind of cool. I mean, who rolls up with a flying ship and shoots magic cannons at your front door? At that gate, at that point you let her go by and just go ahead. You've earned this. You've earned this. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Oh, you know what? And Draven makes a really good point too about the time she kicked all the Horde out of Dalaran and Mista Pandaria, which they did deserve.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
she was
again,
quite
it was
forceful
deserved.
about it.
Eh.
All right, so
It-
there's factors at
she
play
was
here. That's fine.
killing merchants, shopkeepers and stuff.
Yeah.
During that.
You know how many
So there's
merchants
that.
and shopkeepers
But-
I've killed in my day, and I don't have the entire Horde breathing down my neck about it?
But I just want to make it very clear that everyone got there at the same time to mess up some stuff, and she was just part of the she's part of the people who went to do this attack and killed all this stuff and killed Rastakhan of all people. Now,
Yeah.
maybe she wasn't in the room, but as like a soldier for the Horde, you don't know whether or not she's in the. And who cares? You've got this whole group of people here that are trying to, take down your city and kill your leader. They're not going to go, oh, hey, yeah, but we're cool with Jaina, though. I get that she's here with them. No, the reason why they're after Jaina is because she's part of the crew. I don't
and that's the
understand
only real reason. I think, I mean, and like I said, that wasn't really to make the Horde hate Jaina. I think it was to make the Horde player hate Jaina. I think that's what the whole gauntlet was designed to do.
Well, I don't think the Horde players have any reason to have any problem hating any of the Alliance heroes. Especially considering and I mean, chat room, you guys have been absolutely killing it with the and then these things happened, which I wasn't able to come up with in my brain. Like Morally Gray podcast is here, and they're talking about how she was arguing to Varian that maybe they should end the Horde at the end of Siege and Bogomar. Like, that's, if you're a Horde player, you're like, I don't know.
She was fresh off of Theramore at that point. She was directly
even so,
reacting
if
to
you're
that.
if you're the undead mage who was along for the ride, you're like, hang on, lady, you're gonna do what now? Like, that'll rackle your feathers a little bit. That's not a phrase. Sal, strike that from the record.
No.
I'll just say that as a Tauren druid, I have a hard time hating Jaina.
Yeah, I feel like
and that's a bias.
Okay.
Yeah, as a
sense.
Tauren druid, I have a hard time hating her because, I mean, our war chief Bane, as far as we're concerned, loves Jaina.
Yes.
So, I mean, we have no problem. We everything that Jaina has done.
Love.
You never know. But yeah, like, we have no beef with her.
Because it's Taurens. You man.
Oh, that I didn't get. Good job, Barf. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what was going in my mind. The 50th time through the gauntlet is maybe they're trying to help us get into the character of going after her at the end. Maybe that just a little bit.
All right. Well, I have a question. I always ask everyone a hard question. Normally I ask your roster, but we've had Banana Republic on before. We know your roster. It changes. I want to know the top 3 longest members of Banana Republic currently on your roster.
That would probably be, obviously, Amon, Astaria, who's also one of the co-leads, and could be Rosie Palm or Plam. Rosie Plam, I should say, Rosie Plam, or possibly Billy Piper, as some of the longest, I would say.
Not as hard as I thought it was going to be. How long has Banana Republic been around?
Billy Piper, the actress?
Oh, yes, she's totally playing with us.
Guild.
No. Yeah, that character is in the guild. You see the name in there if you look it up. But definitely longer than Draenor. Probably Wrath. I'd have to confirm with them, but it's been around a while.
At least not with CTR because we didn't come around until Mist, but
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like it's a team that's kind of been going for a while. So maybe it was Cataclysm when it started, but I know that it was definitely going strong when I joined it in Draenor.
all right.
Well, I gotta say, man, you've been a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for coming out. The last couple of things that we want to get out before we close for the night are, first of all, how do we track you down on the internet? Whereabouts are you?
I am on the tweeters. You can find me at the Mewkow. You can also find me anything having to do with the EIE podcast, which is the AIE version of the Converted.
Wait a minute, AIE podcast. But
Yeah, it's a
they're
podcast.
like our
It's about-
enemies. AIE is like our enemies, right?
That's news to me.
But AIE is Horde, and we're against them or something.
Well, don't tell anyone, but AIE actually has a tiny alliance faction. So the hate's not on this side. The hate's not on this
It's
side.
not. No.
I know.
We've all. That's just me being silly. We've always, considered AIE our sister guild, and we've
Indeed.
done lots of stuff together, and hopefully some stuff in the future too.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
That's the
Sal,
plan.
you must not have been there for this past BlizzCon. AIE and CTR were going to meet and have a epic clash of violence and bloodshed, and instead we all just sat around and drank. Yeah, there it is.
The bloodshed was literally my idea, and
Yeah,
then
but
we just drank.
you stayed home.
No. I remember seeing her there.
I was there. I stayed in your.
Where were you?
Barf, you like paid for my hotel room.
No, I didn't.
I mean, I gave you money for it.
There it is.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you. What were you saying about the AIE podcast?
Every other week we have the AIE podcast. It's to talk again about what's going on in the guild. It's a little bit longer winded because we have more than just WoW. We have Final Fantasy 14. We have Eve, ESO, SWTOR, Star Trek Online. We have a lot of news to go through. Luckily, I'm very long winded, so it's no big deal. But it's you'll see me on there every other week. It's on Sundays. Saturday, the next one because of Easter, but Sundays usually. And other than that, you can see me on the CTR side as Muda or Mewkow, Mew something, not something Mew. That's Bartholomew, but Mew something. That's likely me. And similar names on the Hordy side. But yeah, you'll find me there. And also, I'm also on Twitter as Mewkow.
Awesome. Aside from the show and the Twitter and anything else, is there anything else that you want to pimp on your way out?
Not really. Just wanted to pimp out my raid team because we would love to have everyone join us if you're a late nighter. Even if you're not a late nighter, just want to hang out.
Awesome. Well, like I said a second ago, you've been a tremendous interview, and we were super happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Anytime, man. Absolutely anytime. We're going to switch over and get in touch with Eshelon now because he's got to give us the raid report. But in the meantime, we're going to do...
It's time for tea!
What? All right, so guild events, make sure you're watching that guild calendar, guild.converttoraid.com. On top of that, get in our Discord if you're not already. What's going on? But that's where we put events as well. Fun fact, some people may not know this. There is a command, !rank space CTR. If you type that in Welcome Wagon, you can get a cool rank that's just CTR guild specific. The nice thing about that is when we're doing events and stuff, I don't like to ping at here because that pings everybody in the thing. And if you scroll over, you'll see we have a lot of people. This is not just the guild. It's the podcast too. That tag helps us just narrow down that ping so we're not bugging everyone. And we said this at the beginning of the show. We're going to say it in the middle. Guild Town Hall this Sunday, 2 p.m. server. Be there. I think that's everything I have. Watch the stuff. There's tons of cool things happening. I know Sayasin and Sinja just did a achievement run that was amazing and a huge success. But watch the Discord, watch the calendar, watch the Twitter. That's where stuff will be posted. All right.
Hello,
Ash.
everyone.
Hello. How's that raid report looking?
Raid report is looking good. Lots of progression happening. You guys ready to get into it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. We've got Glutton's Punishment. Took out Blockade and Lady Jaina on normal difficulty, and they got Champion and Jadefire Masters on heroic troublemakers. And the Rubber Chickens got to Grong. Took down Grong. Good job to those guys. Aims to Misbehave, 9 to Midnight, and the Bacon and Kegs group took out Opulence. We've got Threat Level Midnight, Salad Senate, Raid 6, all got Conclave, and it looks like Banana Republic took out King Rosticon along with Resolve. Let's see. Hell to Pay, Dark One's Own Luck, and the Standard Dragon Protocol. Also, Standard Dragon Protocol got Mechatork, And looks like, oh, I apologize. Dark One's Own Luck also got Mechatork. Stand Dragon Protocol took out Rastakhan, Mechatork, and Blockade, so they are 8 of 9 and 2 more ahead of the curve this time around. Face Pull and the Hydro Volunteer Fire Department both taking out Lady Jaina on heroic difficulty. And of course, Edamame and Rectified did not disappoint. One more mythic kill for those two teams. Conclave is down.
Nice.
So, yeah, a lot of progression still happening. I mean, kind of went through it quick, but that's a lot. There was a lot.
Yeah, if Convert to Raid is doing one thing, and one thing only, it's raiding. I'll tell you that right now. There's so
You can't
much of it
stop
going
'em.
on.
You can't stop them.
Can't stop, won't stop.
All right. Well, anything else to go over at all, Ash?
The whole chest transmog thing. Apparently, this is what happens. Like, you take your chest transmog off and you just have like a shirt on.
Oh,
I don't recommend it. I don't
Unless you've
recommend
got a
it.
really rad
like-
shirt on.
I have Precious's
I didn't think about that. I just like
ribbon.
turned it off, and then there was just like a plain white shirt. I was like, not sure.
I think he's talking about himself IRL because he has a button-up shirt on instead of a t-shirt, his normal uniform. Eshelon, today, did you happen to wear a jacket to work
Were you fancy?
or dinner?
Just took my transmog off, and this is what was left behind.
Your
That was
button-up shirt.
bad.
Yes. Too bad you don't have an iron.
I do. I just don't know how to use it.
I determined a long time
freely
ago.
admit that.
I determined a long time ago that that ironing is against my religion.
Yeah.
I do not own one.
If you just
Yeah.
hang it up while you shower, the steam will help get the wrinkles out. That's what I do.
I just have polyester dresses.
That's probably a good
Me
thing
too.
Yeah.
Fact. Well, I think it's gonna bring us to shout outs. Chat room, you can still throw them at me. Ash, though, he has some sweet, hot, spicy mana buns to conjure up with those Twitter ones.
We do. Frasley sent us a hot mana bun. He says, shout out to Razor for encouraging me to sing and do puns on my streams. Frasley, you're really, he's reaching. He's going for it. Last night was wild. Shorel at Shorel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Shout out to HTX for kicking butt on Jaina normal and our first night of attempts. She'll be dead soon.
Yeah.
Seosin says, shout out to everyone who came to the achievement run. We got a mount thanks to Sinja CTR for organizing. Thank you, Sinja. ASOT, I want to say. Murdoch, HB. All the best to my team, Raid 6. Hard decision made by the leadership to close the doors, but it was an amazing group. Been a pleasure raiding with you all. Much love. Hey, teams, sometimes they dissolve and sometimes they, get created. So out of the ashes will come something else. I am sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
So best of luck to all of you guys. Jamal says a big shout out to Edamame for taking the bait. I don't know what that means, but it means something to those guys. And he also shouts out to Raid Team 6, to its members for having a good run. And the last one I've got, shout out from Graves to the Rubber Chickens for steady progress and heroic battle of Razzle Dazzle. Big fat goosh, hashtag goosh from Graves.
Goosh.
Love it. All right, some chat room shout outs we have. Warcraft Stats, who was in here earlier, shouts out to Sylvanas. Please and thank you. To counter that,
What?
Ash then shouts out to the death of Sylvanas. So,
Yes.
guess.
Which one?
ooh, true. Very true.
May she die
Battle
in
of the
pieces.
Czar shout outs.
Draven says shout out to Thanos, you know why. Also shout out to Jaquin. I realize I do not know how to pronounce his name now. Phoenix for an excellent movie trailer. I'm going with Jaquan, but it's not that.
What?
I can tell you. I don't know what's happening. Okay, Swayze. Shout out to my pretty wife Vash. And shout out to the best raid team on the server, Rubber Chickens. Also shout out to Eshelon. I think I bought tickets off you last BlizzCon and I never got to meet you.
Is that true?
Esh?
Like,
I sold 4 tickets last year.
two of my favorite people. And
Yeah, I feel
am
like
there
Vash and
too,
Swayze
and I
were
never
everywhere at
collided
BlizzCon
those
last year.
People? Yeah.
Sorry I missed you. This year, go again. I'll see you. We'll make it
Right.
a point.
And Turarts, it's Joaquin.
Yeah, could
Joaquin
you-
Phoenix.
Could you give me another shot at that Joaquin Phoenix pronunciation?
Nope, I'm not doing it. Well,
And,
it's Joaquin. Okay.
By the way, I watched that Joker trailer something like 70 times.
Oh my gosh. It comes out 4 days before my birthday, so that's how I'm ringing in 30. I'm going to be in the movie theater by myself eating popcorn, just shouting out that it's going to be great. Anyway, Swayze also shout out to Ash and Tusk, who are stopping by the San Jose, California area to watch Endgame with us at the end of the month. That'll be fun. And Morally Gray shout out to Frasley for inviting me to future episodes of Frazzlecast. I'm going to try and make him drop another F-bomb. I've never heard
What?
Frasley cuss. Never. Did
Frasley
Frasley
doesn't
cuss?
know any cuss words. You making stuff up.
I think we need clips so this didn't happen.
Yeah.
I
agreed.
think F-bomb means something else that we don't know.
It's a
Does he say the
gnomish
word
thing.
fritter?
Pardon me?
Fritter. It's a banned word in my house.
Fritter.
Not my house, my parents' house. My dad goes
Frasley's
crazy.
like, I'm getting the clip. Okay. Okay.
Winchester also shouts out my haircut, and I usually don't do those ones when it's to me, but I love my new haircut, so I'm gonna shout it out too.
Nice haircut, T. What's
I'm so
up?
excited. It's so light now. I have to remember when I wash it, like that it doesn't, like I don't and use too much. So, all right, Frasley,
Clip that. Just that just that second and a half. Like,
that's the sound. Like if the conditioner doesn't make that sound, you don't have enough. Like that's a fact. Oh man, this is not going well. Let's move it on up. That's my chat room shout outs. Barf, what do you have for us?
I don't have that. Do we have more shout outs just from us before we roll up out of here? Because I'm all out of announcements.
No. I'm out.
Okay, well I have shout outs. Ash, do you have any?
I don't. I just got
Oh.
some text. I got text messages that are full of positivity just now and love, and I'm going to shout out to the girl who's tutoring my kids, my littlest ones, in reading. She's like doing just a awesome job, and I'm getting just getting some good positive feedback, and that's making me really happy right now. So that's my shout out. Shout out to Alicia. Nobody knows who that is, but
Adorable. Shout out to Euro and Draven. They helped us with dungeons when Plaguey and I did our iron, or not our, whatever the name of that new dwarf is. Battlespark Crew, Scott, JT, Travis. I promised I'd have news this week. NDA say I can't say anything yet, so soon. Finally, I'm gonna pronounce this name wrong. Letome
Joaquin.
Silver.
Jack Queen? Jack Quinnen?
Oh man.
Jay Quinn?
I tried. I don't know. Anyway, this gal is an amazing singer. She's a Twitch streamer. She did a parody to Gaston, but it was Garage instead. And it was absolutely
Oh.
brilliant. I'm going to try and see if I can find the stream that she did it, and I'll tweet it. But it was the best 3 minutes ever. She nailed it. But yeah, she did it all World of Warcraft with Garage instead of Gaston. So I am so glad I was able to catch that.
Very cool.
And I can't pronounce her name, but I'll be done. I'll be done there. It looked like Jacqueline. Did.
All right. Well, while T is pouting, I've got two. First of all, Lita was kind enough to invite me to be a guest on Behind the Avatar like 4 weeks ago or something, and over and over again, things were kind of like standing in the way of making that appointment happen. But it seems like probably this coming Friday. we're going to be able to do that. So a preemptive big old shout out. Appreciate that big time. And in addition, I'd like to give a shout out to the Rubber Chicken Coalition, which has been my raid team for I don't know how many years now. I have recently begun to experience a bit of the raiding burnout, so I'm taking a step back just for a little while to sort of get my head back in the game and, you know, be the best barf I can be. But they have given me incredible opportunities for the ratings and the loots and the fun and the fellowship, and I appreciate it all the way to the moon and back. You guys have been amazing. So thank you so much for all that time, and I'm looking forward to the day where like my brain is like, yeah, we should go kill the demons again, because that's going to be a fun day. That's where I'm at. Anybody else have anything before we go?
Bring it on home, Barf.
Alrighty. That is going to wrap it up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for our theme music. You can find us on Twitter at @converted_CTR. Turarts is at Turarts. Sal is at Summer_Sal. Esh is at Eshelon, and I am at a bonus level. When is the next episode?
Our next show is Monday, April 29th, Barf. We're going to talk about the new mini raid that's coming out. It will have already come out. Now, if you're doing the math, you're like, wait a minute, but 2 weeks from tonight is that's not right. Well, the Monday in 2 weeks is the day after Easter. Barf's going to be on the road, and I'm going to be recovering from back surgery. So, so if you want to, send the vibes over on April 17th, I will be getting a micro discectomy, and I'll tell you what, getting this surgery is going to help me dance at BlizzCon this year. So, I'm actually pretty happy about it. I've been limping around BlizzCon for several years in a row, and it turns out it's like this outpatient situation, and it'll be good. Everything's gonna be fine.
It's another reason for me to go to BlizzCon this year. The Sal dance.
To dance with Sal. That's right. Yeah. So we got, it's like this perfect storm of stuff, and we're just gonna like let it go one more week. So April 29th, we're going to be talking about the bosses of the new mini raid. Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to say goodbye now. For Turarts.
Bye.
For Eshelon.
See you later.
For Sal.
To Partos.
And for myself. We'll see you next time, everybody.
You can follow the show on Twitter at converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Tapartos knows to hide his shirt.
That was a fun show.
That was.
That was a fun show. Are we really going to do the thing where we go ride a roller coaster together? Is that a no, Barf? Okay.
I wouldn't be able to do it on stream because I'm not set up to have WoW and the Discord capture working all at the same time.
Ah, okay. I understand that. Y'all sound different not on 1.5 speed. Well, Morally Gray.
Is true.
It's nice to have you here live. Oh, we did miss one very important update, though.
What was that?
Sunday is Game of Thrones Day.
It's true.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a friend who used to invite me over for Game of Thrones night. I have not heard from him recently. I wonder if I'm invited to his house so I can hang out with his family and watch Game of Thrones.
I mean, also text your friend and say, "Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I could do that.
I hadn't heard from you in a while. Are we still cool?" But thing is, you don't have to say, "Are we still cool?" He just probably, need to get back with your friend.
I mean, he did this whole thing where he's like making kids and like living his dad life. Did I mean to say that out loud? He's not in the audience. It's fine.
Creating children is easy to do, hard to maintain.
Oh, he did it on purpose. Like, I want to make that clear. Like, this wasn't a surprise. His wife comes out of the kitchen with muffins and a newborn.
Did you say that out loud?
Actually, the correct joke there would be pancakes, because they announced.
Oh, I love pancakes.
They announced via chalkboard the week after. Oh goodness, I forget what the character's name was. The red-haired, militaristic, beefy man from The Walking Dead. Nobody? Okay, that's fine. There's a character who I just described, and at one point, one of the other characters announces, well, Abraham. See, Kaya's got my back. One of the other characters was having a conversation about syrup and pancakes. See, Bear Kitty knows. They were talking about how she had recently discovered that she was a pregnant lady during the zombie apocalypse. And Abraham leans in and says, "When y'all was pouring the Bisquick, were you meaning to make pancakes?" And that's funny. That's very funny. And then the following week, we go to their house for Walking Dead night, and there's like, you know how you have a tiny chalkboard in your kitchen that has like "buy eggs" or whatever written on it? Some people have this. I don't have a tiny chalkboard in my house. I use dry erase markers like an adult. But they said pancakes in October or whatever it said on there. And no one got it for 4 hours, or however long we were there for that day. Probably closer to 2 hours. And then eventually somebody was like, "What does pancakes mean? Are you pregnant?" Like totally like cold and not like in like, oh, what does that mean? She was like, "You didn't have to say it that way, but yeah." So that's my story about someone else's pregnancy that I'll share with my group of friends.
I like that.
In about 3 months or so, you can tell us about your own. But
baby barfs.
God, no.
You can get them to turn off lights for you.
No, I got robots for that. I'm not making that mistake. You kidding me?
Robots for that, yes.
I got stuff to do.
The nut doesn't fall far from the tree.
It's an inappropriate joke. This is a family-friendly podcast.
Oh, man.
That might have been too metaphor, sorry.
Bear Kitty, congratulations. That's awesome, man.
Nice. A great uncle. I'm a terrible aunt.
You are a great aunt. I see the pictures of you and your nieces on wherever you post them. I think you post them on different
I love
social
my nieces.
medias.
I'm a
wish
coin
they'd
flip
stay
uncle
young,
at best.
I don't send them money, and I never remember their birthdays.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I wish people wouldn't remember Miles' birthdays. He gets too much crap.
Change it.
So there is an article on Wall Street Journal. It's a promoted article on Twitter that says a behavioral economist answers questions on loud talkers, out of control spending, and procrastinating taxpayers. But it says, "Can I ask my friend not to talk so loudly without coming across as a jerk?" And I wanted to know the answer to this question because there's someone whom I like.
Am I being subtweeted?
I don't always get it when you say that. But no. Do you talk? Are you no? There's someone who sometimes joins like D&D, or at least hangs out with the same kind of D&D the people that I hang out with, and he's a yell talker, and
Ugh.
it
So I've got a suggestion. Maybe this will work, maybe not. We've got a couple of these guys. Okay, I work in a manufacturing situation. Okay, I'm one of the people up in the front office, and then there's a bunch of people out in the plant. And the people in the plant sometimes come up, and they've been yelling all day long because it's hard to hear
Yeah,
out
they
there
are.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of loud. So they come in the office and they're yelling like, very loud yell talking. Okay, they don't know they're yelling. They have no idea. They've just been. This is their like volume level all day long. So
it's
they
like when
come
people
in, and
take
I'm
off
like,
headphones.
hey, whoa, slow down. There's people trying to take naps around here. Inside voice, inside voice.
This is
And that
work.
brings
We're
them
all
down.
sleeping.
That kind of like clicks for them. They don't like take offense or whatever. They're just kind of like, oh, okay. I'm talking to Robert now. I'm up in the office. So, Eshelon. I'm sorry. They're talking to Eshelon.
Oh, we know your real name now.
Oh, got me.
I guess the 2 times I've mentioned it, I've hung out with him like 4 or 5 times, and I mean he was explaining something to me, and he was sat next to me, and just like my anxiety, I just can't handle it. Just yelling. Is a yell talker.
You're absolutely sure this wasn't me.
I
Are you a
know.
yell talker?
Have you met me?
I mean,
I feel like I met you. I don't remember that.
Sometimes I think it's people's emotions too, because I know when I get excited, I get really fast and loud, and so I have to remember to slow it down. But that's Sal. That's not.
no. What I said last time was like, hey man, I'm sitting next to you, and I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm sitting next to you, man. And he's like, I yell talk, I can't help it. But then he like brought his voice down, but he looks a little annoyed. But I'm like, I can't have someone yelling in my ear. Now the thing is, I can't find the answer to the question on the Wall Street Journal because it's behind the paywall.
Oh, that's dumb. That was the point. I forgot that's what we were talking about.
But
Sometimes I have trouble
Robert,
controlling the volume of my voice.
that's not a bad way of saying that. But the thing is, those people know that they were just in a super loud environment, and they're like, oh yeah, it's like people that take their headphones off and start yelling.
Oh yeah.
Or have their headphones on and talk really loud, and it's like, oh, but this is. Did you just call out your wife?
She didn't see that. It was all like stealth. That was stealth. She's playing the game. You didn't have to say anything. She has the headphones on. She can hear you.
Oh,
I'm in so much trouble now. Thanks a lot.
This is amazing.
That was the purpose. My mom talks on the phone at restaurant. First of all.
I rolled a
Sal
great
has a
stealth
story.
check on that, and then you rolled a nat 1 for me. Like, bam. It's like, no.
First of all, you need to tell your mom to literally never talk on the phone at restaurants. To literally never. Like ever. If you're in a restaurant, you don't talk on the phone. It should be a law. And what you do is you get her to put the phone in the car. Keep the phone in the car. I mean, she
I
doesn't
have my
listen.
phone, like when I don't have Miles, like my parents are watching him, but they know to text. But I'll have it because he ended up in the ER once, and so I don't trust my parents. And they lost him on Black Friday once. Why do I let them watch him?
Frasley, you can say, "Hey, Mom, I'm not going to go to dinner with you because I think you're going to talk on your phone, and that's that's really rude."
The Navox.
If you're going to leave your phone in the car, just keep the windows.
You know what's even more irritating at the restaurant? Having it at the DMV when you get called up to the counter and you're like, how may I help you? Oh, 1 second. I'm like, you've waited here for an hour. You knew this was
Next.
coming.
There's a
You knew this was
number
coming.
on the
numbers
wall
go
that
in
ticks
order.
closer and closer to you.
That's my favorite. Or when you got put on hold and then I pick up your phone. Oh, can you hold on 1 second? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. This is what I get paid for.
Click. Well, okay,
That's my
so
favorite.
wait a minute. No, if they're on hold, they don't know how long it's
Well,
gonna be.
no, it's hold on 1 second. And then they have another phone, I guess. Yeah, I'm on hold with the DOT. They just picked up. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. And I'm like, how long am I supposed to hold for?
Okay, I'm
why are you not
picturing
wrapping up
like
this
they've got
conversation?
macaroni in one hand and a beer in the
No.
other, and they're like juggling. And oh, now's the time they pick up those monsters at the DOT.
But I'm glad you call it DOT because that's what we call it in Iowa. But other states are weird and call it DMV.
Oh, I should tell you
Literally
something.
everybody else calls it DMV.
What should you tell me?
I had a client come into my bank that had an Ohio license and it had that gold star you were telling me about.
Yes, the Gold Star. It's amazing.
And
Everyone
I was
needs
like,
to-
is this what she was talking about? And the client
is.
goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, I have a friend who works for the Ohio DOT and she was telling me all about the gold star and I had no clue what she was talking about. And here it is. Look, it's right here. And they were like, you're a professional. Why are you freaking out like a toddler?